All right, let's try this again with audio this time. I don't know how my headset and microphone got messed up. But yeah, I've done this video once. But yeah, it was a score cube sequence that came up while playing against practice matches. Junaid and I as a team against Ibrahim and Ali Beline in Istanbul before the Cyprus tournament. So I thought they were really good score cube kind of references and can help you with how to think about um, how to think about the cube in these like really aggressive score situations and how we have to start thinking about that earlier and be really aware of positions and what's going on with them. But yeah, so I'm going to try to be doing these every Monday and Thursday. So watch out for these. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of those. I should have a few more play and explains coming along with the WBIF tournament, which I'm in the finals of. So I think we'll play that next week. And if you have a video of a recorded match that you've played and you would like me to do a commentary track for it as like a lesson kind of thing, reach out to me. And I hope we can figure something out. I'm hoping to get some sort of like donations around that, or I don't know. I'm gonna make commentary videos anyway, so maybe I'll just do those too if I don't have other things that I'm looking at. There might be a few that I would choose to do from the Cyprus tournament instead if I don't have other requests. But yeah, hoping to do more of those, like something either a play and explain or commentary kind of thing once a week. Probably get started with that soon. But okay, without further ado, Junaid and I are the white checkers, and we open with a 6-1 at the 7-away, 2-away scoreline, and our opponent opens with a 4-1. And already we should be thinking about the cube here. And at this score, I mean, we clearly have an advantage. There might be a few more gammons with more checkers in zone and no anchor. So I think we should at 7-away, 2-way. I'm looking for a little more advantage than this typically, and so I chose to wait here, and it is indeed a little bit early, but it's actually getting close. So this is how aware of cube action we have to be at these scores. And if I just change this to 4-way, 2-way, the most aggressive score line, that should be enough to send the cube. So having references for what to do and just kind of an idea of how little of an improvement you need to have an advantage in some gammons and risk losing your market at 4-way, 2-way, like this is a pretty nice position to show any of these pointing rolls followed by a split. But so we do not send it correctly at this score, and we roll a 6-2, and our opponent rolls 6-5 from the roof and comes out to the 11. And so knowing the last one, now we have potentially a third checker back. We're half escaped. You know, we've made some big improvements. And so it should be pretty obvious looking at the last one that this is likely to be a cube now. But in the game and for money and all these things, we don't tend to stop and think about a position like this too much. And so Junaid and I just kind of skated past this one without even pausing to talk about it. But we can see the big features are that we're a decent sized favorite with a piece of structure and the better checkers back situation, the race, all these things, but not enough to be worried about losing our market for money. And also the gammons are a little higher than the starting position. So just knowing, I think the big feature of this is the risk of the third checker back increasing gammons, and that's why we need to send a cube like this so early. Um, but we missed that opportunity. We roll a 5-2 and send a checker back, and now our opponent rolls a 3-1 and anchors up. Okay. So now, what I teach in my book is typically that once you have an anchor, we don't need to adjust for the score quite as much anymore. The gammons tend to be like once we have an anchor game, they tend to drop to 5% or less and aren't really impacting things quite as much anymore. So I would tend to just play these out. But this position's a little different. It has a third checker back, which tends to increase gammons. And so our question here is, well, how much does it increase gammons? And Junaid and I talked about this for a while, and I thought I didn't see any market losers where they couldn't play with their anchor. Next roll, he wanted to send it, and it turns out to be a pretty sizable double. Or I mean, not that far off of a pass either. But yeah, so the surprising number here to me that I learned about this position is that it jumps up to 16% gammons. I could have guessed that we're winning quite often and that it's going to be difficult for our opponent to escape the prime, but that 16% number got me a little bit. And so this is a concept I talk about in my book for sure, that like understanding match play cubes in terms of adjusting from money can really help in a position like this because I can separate whether it's my understanding of the score or the understanding of the position that's causing me problems. And here was the position. I didn't know enough about this position to know that I needed to send this and we could actually be getting in the territory of a pass. But now that, if I can remember the anchor in the third back gets up into like the mid-teens of gammons or something like this, well, then this is a fairly easy one to find for me going forward at scores where gammons are really important. And another one where if we adjust it, I think at four-way, two-way, this can actually be enough to have a pass already. So pretty good reference too. This is one where we're not even thinking about this for money. But that's a piece of my misunderstanding too, is that this is actually not that shy of a cube for money. And I'm not sure I would have guessed that. I know that I don't need to think about it here for lack of market loss. And so it's easy for players to not know very much, like, or have very much depth of understanding about this position if we just know it's like usually not a double, right? So that's the thing that match play does to us, is challenges us to understand the positions more deeply. But so we roll on. We're still at 7-way, 2-way, and we roll double aces. If there were market losers, this must be it, right? But our opponent follows up with a 4-2 and makes a decent board point. So in my head, like, for sure I have to send this now. This is looking a little too strong. But I kind of thought I'd probably still take it because I have the anchor, underestimating the gammons again. And our opponents did indeed take this, but this is a monster pass now. And basically, like, the decision's more like, should we just take a roll and play too good since they're never going to get back in the game? Um, and another one where, for money, I think we're getting closer to that take pass borderline that I would have expected here. I feel like with not having the 4-point filled in yet, still see the light, and a checker to still bring around, that this is not a decided game for white. But I'm underestimating how many gammons there are with this goalkeeper back on the 24. Um, so yeah, quite interesting position that, of course, when we understand all the ins and outs of this money play, well, now it should be pretty easy to find a monster pass at this score. And I mean, something like four-way, two-way, I don't know, maybe we can be too good at this score or something like this, right on the cusp of it. Yeah, but yeah, again, like it's just an important question to ask yourself when you're studying these. And if you take this cube and make a 240 mistake, well, why did I make that mistake? Was it really just a score cube and I know I need to pass more at this score, or is it just I need to know more about this position at all scores and how many gammons are available and things like that? I think it can add a lot of clarity to your thinking. But yeah, so I thought this was a really interesting sequence of cubes that came up in our practice play. I hope that helps you as a reference with your score decisions and your study. And maybe just having that 6-1 points, 4-1 split reference for four-way, two-way is something you can use too. But yeah, if you like these videos, go ahead and give it a like for me, and subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified when more come out. I should be doing these every Monday and Tuesday, or Monday and Thursday going forward. So watch out for more short videos like this, and I'll be back soon. Bye, everybody.